Hey, it's great to be here. What a day, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Now this game behind us right now, it's a great atmosphere, but you're telling me next year this game's going to be on TV?
Yeah, actually, now we're going to be on the air in August. Pac-12 Networks will be on the air, and one of the things we're going to do is we're going to have all the spring football games on our air next year.
Talk about all the great exposure that this Pac-12 Network will provide for the conference.
Well, really what the Pac-12 Networks gives us is an opportunity to do a number of football games. We'll be doing 35 football games next year. We'll do probably in the neighborhood of 132 to 140 men's basketball. We'll do between 50 and 90 women's basketball. But one of the big opportunities here is we're going to do another 600 to 700 Olympic events. So, you know, the Cal women's softball team, which is ranked #1 in the country, a number of their games next year will be on the air. Same thing with your women's basketball team, who had such a great run this year. So all the sports at Cal will get exposure next year on Pac-12 Networks.
And one of the great things, and one of the reasons you're here today, I think is great, is you sat down with the students and the spirit groups to find out what they want to see on TV.
Well, what's interesting about the Pac-12 Networks is sports is an important part of what we're doing. But more important to that is we have an opportunity to capture the real feel and the energy and the traditions and the history and the brands of this and the other 11 universities. So we'll be able to really dig into more stories and tell the stories and be able to get across some of those things, quite frankly, that never have time for air on other networks.
And you mentioned a little bit of the exposure all these Olympic sports will get. How great will it be to have, you know, the Pac-12 footprint throughout the entire nation on the national channel?
Well, that's neat, especially for our coaches. The opportunity for us to have national exposure and for fans around the country to see why we call ourselves the Conference of Champions. Most people don't know the Pac-12 has 448 national championships. Our nearest competitor, another conference, I'm not going to mention their names, doesn't even have 250. So the way we dominate sports across the entire spectrum is terrific, and the fact of the matter is passionate sports fans love great competition, and we have it in the Pac-12.
And as you travel to each school around the conference, what's the feedback you've gotten in general from each of these schools?
Well, it's funny. We spent some time this morning. We sat down with a group of students. And the fact of the matter, it's one thing for us to program the network. It's another thing to hear the stories and what the students want to hear, because one of the features that we're going to be providing with Pac-12 Networks is what we call TV Everywhere. Not only are you going to be able to see these games on television, but if you're an authenticated subscriber, you can see it on any device you have anywhere in the country. And so hearing from the people that are using those devices the most, the students, we think it's important to hear what they have to say.
Well, I think you're going to make a lot of fans with this great network and the great digital platform, and we look forward to seeing it on August 15th.
Well, the energy here, you know, at Cal, this is such a special day, Cal Days, and you can just see from the fans here for the spring football game, you know, you multiply that by 12 and you start to understand the passion that we have in this conference.